Harry, ready?
We're ready.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for bearing with us. Adequate notice of the August the 10th, 2017 meeting has been provided, along with the mayor's glasses, in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and an agenda of this meeting on the bulletin board, the Municipal Building 1000, Route 10, Township of Hanover, and by hand delivering or faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, Hanover Eagle, and by filing same with the Township Clerk. I have a roll call.
Committeeman Gallagher.
Here.
Committeeman Faramasca.
Here.
Committeeman Bruno.
Here.
Committeeman Capola.
Here.
Mayor Francioli.
Here.
5 members in attendance, sir.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise, those that may, and join me in a pledge allegiance to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. We have a very nice event tonight. We have with us tonight the students to be recognized for winning the 2017 Independence Conference Championship, North 2 Section Championship, and North 2 Group 2 Championship. Hey guys, son of a gun. And we have a presentation, gentlemen, for you of merit, and we have also a little token from the Township Committee to have you with us. We have some t-shirts with you. So at this point, Bob, our Director of Recreation, I'm going to ask Bob Bruno to present. You ready?
Crystal will assist.
Got it?
Oh, there they are. John will assist. No, I'll do it. I just wanted to find out where they were.
I'll give you that.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So first of all, congratulations, fellas. I know it was quite a run, right? Fun season. Always the best part of this job, recognizing the accomplishments of the youth of Hanover Township, in this case, Whippany Park High School baseball team. Unbelievable run in the state tournament. I think you guys took it a little easy during the regular season, right? You got a low seed in the tournament, and that way you could sneak up on everybody. Is that the strategy? Was that the plan, or was that just a coincidence? Not a big deal. They don't want to admit to it. So the team came together at the right time, had a great run through Section 2, and made it all the way down to Tom's River, the finals. North Jersey Section 2 champs, unbelievable. What a great season. Anything in particular you guys remember or will remember as being a highlight? Any particular game or particular play, home run? Everybody's being shy tonight?
Shy guys.
Who was the captain? All right. So that's part of your responsibility as captain of the team. Give us a highlight for this season.
Probably our section semifinal win over Caldwell. We won 9-8 in, I think it was 9 or 10 innings, whatever it was. That was like the one game during our section that was really competitive. And
You got the winning minute.
no, I shot over 5 that game.
No, you didn't have to admit that. We're here to recognize the good stuff. So the win over Caldwell, that was one of the big items.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Anything else that stood out? See, when we have girls in for girls softball, and we ask that question, what do we hear? Being with my friends or the ice cream after the game. It never has anything to do with the actual game. So in this case, hearing about that Caldwell win is excellent. Any other memories from the coach? Anything in particular, Coach, that stands out?
These guys they're a pleasure. Great group. I talked about them so much, and they made it fun for me to be their coach, which was I couldn't ask for anything more. And they came together. They're a real chemistry team, which is nice.
Good to hear, and maybe some chemistry majors. How many coming back next year? Next year we expect the county championship and the overall group too, all right? We're going to raise the bar up a little higher next year. So, because this is all done with taxpayer funds, we don't have a new car for each of you or even a new bike. But what we do have is a certificate and a t-shirt. How's that? All right, fellas. You would come up, and then if everybody will stay here, maybe in the back, and we'll get a team picture of everybody. Nick Borelli, of course, the first person is down the shore. Ryan Clark. ones. Mike can't make it. Clayton Dangler. Kyle Dangler. Who's that? Nick Giraldi. Not here either. Everybody's at the beach. We didn't want to wait till September. It would have been too much of a distant memory. But coming in August, I know there's other things going on. Tyler Kowalski? No. He's not here. Kyle Lisa. Alex Maeda. I had him as a teacher. Shows my age, right? Mr. Maeda was a well-known science teacher, Kyle's grandfather, so I'm showing my age. I'll shut this one. Matt Munzial. Not here. Nick Danarone. Nick's not here. You guys had a big team. I thought see everybody was here. Patrick Ruger. Is that Charlie's brother?
Yes.
He's playing at Stevens, right?
Yes, yes.
All right. Noah Russo. Mike Roma. Dan Sanchez. Here. Dan Scally. Stephen Tucker. Yeah, tell us about one of the games when you got a few hits next time, right? Ryan Williams.
Oh, at the bottom.
Did we miss one, Kristen?
I'm going by Kyle's list.
No, I'm pretty- I mean, I copy and paste the whole list.
Cristiano?
Yeah.
Cristiano Zabetta.
Yeah.
You're the wrong one.
We'll get the wrong one. We'll get the right one. We'll get the
One
one.
with somebody else's name on it.
I'll get it. For the photograph.
We'll get it. For the photograph, hold on.
Sure. Oh, all right. And for our coach. Excellent. We'll get him one too. We got the wide angle lens.
You guys sort of center yourselves this way? You guys, new council, new committee.
Want us out of the picture, is that it?
The committee member, we're going to
Should we get some other guys in front? Would that help?
yeah, get some people, some small and shorter guys, not really.
Sure. Also.
No. Tighten up.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got it. Tighten up. Do it tighten up.
Turn sideways.
Yeah, sideways.
Three quarters.
Oh, Mike, you know. Turn side, exactly. Turn sideways.
Turn sideways and move in a little guy.
And that's- Come on, guys, turn sideways.
Like you like it.
Turn sideways like this. Look, see. Okay, you too. Okay, you guys. And look at me. There's a hole in the center.
Tighten it up, guys.
Get a little closer, come on.
Act like you like each other.
That's good. Now, hold on. Everybody smile. Say cheese. Thanks a lot, guys.
Excellent job, guys. Keep it rolling, fellas.
Very good.
You want that left over?
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to stay. Got a lot of
Very, very smart young men they're leaving.
That'll be like crickets out there.
Give them a minute. Did you get everybody, we still have some certificates?
Yeah, well, there are a lot of
No
no-shows.
Yeah. Okay. I know. Okey dokey. All right, we'll give those gentlemen a second, and then we'll start.
Congrats, Coach.
Great job. Thank you.
Nice work.
Hey,
Okay. All right,
Congratulations.
gentlemen, at this time, continuing on with our meeting, motion to open
So
to
moved.
the
Second.
public. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now open. If anyone would like to address the Township Committee at this time, they can do so from the podium, giving us your name and address for the record. No? You don't want, okay. Joe, nothing?
We're gonna save it till the end of season.
You think we're gonna hit Guam? What do you
Beat John's.
What do you think? What do you think tonight? I mean, what's this gentleman's at the podium? I'm sorry. Go right ahead. Give us your name. Would you turn that microphone up to you?
Absolutely.
There you go. And give us your name and address for the record.
Justin Evans out of 20 Orchard Place, Cedar Knolls, New Jersey. I just wanted to follow up. I'm not sure if you guys were able to discuss about the speed tables on Orchard Place. So I'm just here. The other neighbors couldn't make it because it was a little late for them. So I just wanted to see if you guys were able to discuss that tonight.
Well, we have been talking about that, as you know, we've discussed that. And obviously, there are other issues involved. We did the study.
Yes.
Okay, and we're now going through the process of evaluating other issues because of the fact of the impact that it may have on Elm and Prospect. Okay, so there's some thoughts we have of what we're going to do, which we're currently in the position of reviewing with our engineering and our police department.
Pertaining to putting the tables on Elm.
Pertaining to what we're going to do as far as tables or anything that's going to involve primarily those three streets. Because it's not going to just impact
Orchard.
It's definitely going to impact some of the others.
Township engineer wants an opportunity not to just look at Orchard, but to review the streets surrounding that area because they're so interconnected. And there's some wisdom in that because we may have to come up with a system that addresses more than just Orchard. So we're going to let engineer
Yeah, I completely agree with that because it's not just Orchard that the speeding problem is there, but on the report it does show that the average speed on Orchard is 38.
There's no denying that.
You guys know that, and the speed's over 50 miles an hour on that street.
Yeah.
So,
Bill, that's the reason why they're going to look at not only Orchard, but they also want to see how the impact's going to have overall on all those streets. And as in the past, I will keep you abreast of what's going on.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
We're going to keep it moving. Trust in the fact we're going to keep it moving.
The neighbors are talking to me about it, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else like to be heard at this time? Joseph, take your time.
Thank you. I wasn't going to say anything, but since he spoke about streets,
Yep.
as my lovely wife drove me here today,
And where is she? Waiting in the car?
no, she drove me with a whip.
Oh, that type of drive. I got you.
Joseph Mahalko, 12
I didn't know you were into
Terrace,
that kind of stuff, but go
Whitney
ahead.
section of Hanover Township. No, but truly, we were coming tonight in a beautiful, beautiful sunset. As we drove into the sunset tonight, we're coming down Reynolds Avenue, and she said, Joe, normally I tell you to keep your mouth shut, but tonight I'd like you to mention to the illustrious board that the condition on the corner of Reynolds Avenue and Parsippany Road, where they're constructing 2 new homes.
Oh, yeah.
Her question was, that corner is a very narrow corner. Jerry, are there intentions of widening that to maybe a right turn lane at the bottom of Reynolds?
No, as far as what the developer is doing there, they are going to regrade that corner area to lower the grade so the sight distance is improved. But in terms of widening that, obviously Parsippany Road is the county road, and in Parsippany, the county did not require any roadway widening from them, but they are going to grade it out so that the sight distance is improved.
Well, that probably will allow me to get to sleep tonight. Thank you very much.
Joe, they bring up an old issue, and God bless Alice Anderson, who has passed away. But when Alice had the house, the big issue was the garden in the front and the steep slope. But as the engineer said, and I think the developers that are working on it now are taking that down, So that should be a big help as far as line of sight. But I have to tell you, if you turn left to the bridge, you're taking your chances coming out there. You know, you don't have good line of sight past the bridge. You know, everyone edges out, and you grit your teeth. Put a mirror up there? Could we put something up?
No, I'm not sure that the county would allow that, but, you know, we have identified that intersection as, at some point in the future, that will require signalization as traffic on Parsippany Road increases, and as we all know, that Reynolds Avenue is kind of like a connector to Route 46 through Parsippany, so that receives a lot of traffic also. So I think at some point, that traffic will increase to the level where a signal may be warranted.
Good. Okay. Joe, keep watching it. Okay, the floor is still open. If anyone else would like to address the committee, they can do so. Having seen none, hearing none, motion to close. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Administrator?
Okay, as we continue, ladies and gentlemen, we have the approval of Township Committee minutes, the regular minutes of July 13th, 2017. May we have a motion?
So moved.
for approval?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
So approved. Communications, we have actually a late item that we're going to enter into the record tonight. The first, of course, is the fact that we have the submission of the 2016 audit report on the examination of the Township's financial statements. I'm pleased to report there are no recommendations, no exceptions, so we have an excellent rating from the auditor on our financial statements. The second item is a letter which I received this afternoon, and it's actually addressed to Mike Wynn, the Executive Director of the Hanover Sewerage Authority, to John Ferramasca, Liaison to the Sewerage Authority, and to the Mayor and Township Committee. And it reads as follows. I want to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to serve on the board of the Hanover Sewerage Authority. I've enjoyed my years of service. I especially want to thank Mike Wynn for his time, effort, and knowledge he puts forth in managing the Sewerage Authority, and also putting up with me all these years. And to John Ferramasca for his excellent communication, keeping us informed and the Township Committee aware of the work we were doing. Because of my wife's health condition, I will be devoting all of my evening hours to her and her care. Please accept my resignation from the Hanover Sewerage Authority Board. Thank you again for the opportunity to serve. Very truly yours, Joseph A. Schleifer, Sr.
Well, I'd tell you it's a sad moment, but understood and appreciated that family and Joe's concerns for his wife, certainly first and foremost. No question about that.
Okay.
Joe has been, I know John will have some comments, but Joe has been a wonderful asset to us over time, as the whole Schleifer family has. Kenny has served us on the committee, and Joe has served so many years on the Sewage Authority, and we will sorely miss him and his leadership and where he's taken us. John, you have comments?
From behalf of the Township Committee, we reluctantly accept that resignation. Joseph A. Schleifer has been a wonderful leader. Hanover Sewage Authority. He's been a great mentor to the commissioners. He runs one of the finest business meetings within this town hall. He's done a fantastic job for HSA. He's done a fabulous job for the community. And under his leadership as chair, HSA, this is Hanover Township. We're in northern New Jersey. Okay, we're in the state of New Jersey. HSA is the #1 recognized sewage authority in the country, the entire country now, 28 years in a row. That is pretty darn significant, and his involvement, along with the members of HSA and the leadership he's provided, and the commissioners have done it, and we are all grateful to them. Joe Gott understood the importance HSA represented in terms of economic development, and he fostered a real business-like responsiveness on the part of HSA, and HSA has been a real partner with our township in terms of promoting Hanover and in terms of allowing us to go out and get
corporate jewels like Bear and MetLife and Wegmans and on and on and on. So I personally will miss him. The Township Committee will miss him. But he's a great man, and he knows his priorities, and that are to his family, and I'm sure that's what he will be doing. So we all wish Joe Schleifer the very best.
The very best. You need a motion to accept?
Yes, as is our policy, we need a motion. There's a motion by Mr. Faramasca.
Second.
Second by Mayor Francioli. On roll call on this one, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Pola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So accepted. We have the following departmental reports that have been filed in my office and are available for public inspection. We have 2 reports from the treasurer on summary of all budget revenues as of July 24th and also August the 8th. We have the annual report of the Board of Adjustment, which was adopted on July 20th, 2017, and that report was distributed to all members of the Township Committee. The Superintendent of Public Works has submitted his reports on all activities conducted by the Public Works, Buildings and Grounds, and Park Maintenance Department during the month of July. And finally, the Township Engineer has filed his report on the status of all capital projects as of today, August 10th. And ladies and gentlemen, we continue now with the agenda. We'll just note for the record that we have 1 ordinance for adoption, but we have 2 ordinances for introduction, which were discussed by the governing body this evening, so they do not appear on your printed agenda. The first ordinance is docketed as Ordinance 19-2017. It's an ordinance of the Township Committee amending and supplementing Chapter 166 of the Code, entitled Land Use and Development Legislation, by amending the provisions concerning the required number of parking spaces for various uses. We have on file the proof of publication that the ordinance and the notice of introduction appeared in full in the July 19th issue of the Daily Record. In accordance with the municipal land use law, the ordinance was filed with the Morris County Department of Planning and Public Works, and we have their certification that the ordinance was received and filed with the Morris County Planning Board. And once again, in accordance with the municipal land use law, when the ordinance was introduced, it was referred to the Planning Board for referral and recommendation. And I have received the following ordinance from the Planning Board Chair, and it reads as follows. Dear Mr. Giorgio, at its August 8, 2017 meeting, the Planning Board reviewed and discussed ordinance number 19-2017, which had been referred to the Board by the Township Committee as required by the municipal land use law at NJSA 40:55D-26A. Ordinance 19-2017 proposes to, 1, change the required number of parking spaces for non-residential uses that are located in residential zones. 2, clarify the application and interpretation of the parking standards in non-residential zones. 3, modify the existing parking requirements for accessory buildings by expanding the treatment to accessory uses and by providing greater specificity in the basis for treating accessory uses differently than what otherwise would be required. And 4, establish the calculation of fractional parking spaces. Now, their review on the master plan consistency. The land use element of the master plan does not contain specific recommendations concerning the minimum number of parking spaces for different uses or different zone districts, or concerning any of the subjects addressed by Ordinance 19-2017. Despite the lack of specific parking standards in the master plan, concerning these subjects, the Planning Board finds that Ordinance 19-2017 is not substantially inconsistent with the land use element of the master plan and recommends the adoption of Ordinance 19-2017 as introduced. Thank you for the opportunity to comment on Ordinance 19-2017. For the Planning Board, very truly yours, Gene Pinadella, Chairman. So at this time, members of the Township Committee, may we have a motion to convene the public hearing?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Faramasca, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call for the public hearing. Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola. And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Is there anyone in chambers wishing to be heard concerning ordinance number 19-2017?
Is there anyone in chambers that understood all the language in the ordinance?
Motion to close.
Have a motion? Second. Roll call to close the public hearing. Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Now on the vote for adoption. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover, amending and supplementing Chapter 166 of the Code of the Township, entitled Land Use and Development Legislation, by amending the provisions concerning the required numbers of parking spaces for various uses, be passed on final reading, and that a notice of the final passage of the ordinance be published in the August 16th issue of the Morris County Daily Record. May we now have a motion on adoption?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Faramasca, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. Roll call for adoption. Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So adopted, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, next ordinance is docketed as ordinance number 20-2017. This is an ordinance of the Township Committee establishing a new Chapter 71 entitled Requiring Commercial Establishments to Maintain Security in Certain Conditions, and this will be under Part 2, the general legislation of the Code of the Township. This ordinance will be further considered for public hearing and final passage at the Township Committee meeting on Thursday, September 14th at 8:30 p.m. And at that time, any person wishing to be heard concerning the municipal building, concerning the matter, will be heard here at the municipal building at that time. It is further resolved that the ordinance and the notice of introduction will be published in full in the Daily Record in accordance with law. May we now have a motion on introduction?
Second.
A motion and seconded. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So introduced.
This proposed ordinance, ladies and gentlemen, would intends to provide additional requirements at certain sites in the township for security, and puts the responsibility for that security on those landowners. So this ordinance intends to implement and put that into place.
Mayor, if I could just add.
Yes.
It's the work of the Township Committee and the administration and the Chief of Police. In the event there's more than 10 or more incidents of police calls in a month, we've set the standard based on a review of statistics and incidents throughout the township. And if there's more, the chief's recommendation is it could be supported by if there's 10 or more incidents. And if that be the case, then the chief of police would have the right to order a property owner to have specific security on the premises to the satisfaction of the chief of police. If it means 24 hours, 7 days a week, that's what it means, because what that'll do is make sure the residents are protected, and also residents are protected from law enforcement being in one location for extended period of time, or servicing one particular establishment, so the purpose is to make the locations more secure for members of the public and to make sure that the police services are not distracted to one particular location. So it's a unique ordinance that the governing body wanted to put together, but it's for the benefit of the residents and the benefit even of the property owner to have to comply with this ordinance and also get the input from the chief of police as to what security standards need to be met. So I think it's just a very, very good way to make sure that the public safety measures that you already have are heightened by any establishment that has this number of incidents in one particular month.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, I just, Fred summed it up very well.
Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have ordinance 21-2017. This is an ordinance of the Township Committee amending and supplementing Chapter 166 of the Code entitled Land Use and Development Legislation by revising the circumstances under which the sale of alcoholic beverages may be sold for on-premises consumption. Now, this ordinance will be further considered at the next meeting of the Township Committee on the 14th of September at 8:30 p.m. here in the main meeting room. And at that time, any person wishing to be heard concerning the ordinance will be given the opportunity to speak. The ordinance and the notice of introduction will appear in full in the daily record in accordance with law. May we now have a motion on introduction?
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded. On roll call for introduction, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
No.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
4 ayes and 1 nay on introduction. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we now continue with the consent agenda of resolutions, which may be found at the bottom of page 1, continues to page 3. Are there any questions from members of the Township Committee concerning any of the resolutions that are listed?
Joe, I have a comment if I could?
Sure.
If now would be the time?
Yes.
I'd just like to look at G, which is authorizing the support of the police department's drive sober or get pulled over 2017 statewide crackdown. I think it's a great tool, once again, to raise awareness to this reckless behavior, and hopefully this will be an additional deterrent to have the state get together and say enough is enough. And our police department does an incredible job. We just had the distracted driving with the texting. We came out almost in the top of it. We did come out in the top of the state. So, Lieutenant, great work. All the guys, great work. And I just want to recognize G, because this is a very important one to every one of us in Hanover Township. So God bless these guys. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, you bring up something on this, Ace, regarding the issue of texting. And Hanover and our department has been very active in I hate to say it, but pulling over and summoning individuals on this issue of texting. And as upset as they might be about a summons, they might also look at it as the fact that we've saved their life.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a very, very good program. Thank you.
Mayor, can I add on this? With that whole issue of the DWIs, this is a state program where a grant is provided. They will be doing this, enforcing it from 8/14 to 9/4, although we do it all the time. And because we do it so well, that's the reason why this grant was successful. If you look at the report, you see that quite often they get quite a number of drivers going through this community that are under DWI. So the chief and his entire staff, my congratulations. I'd like to also add on this item F. This is probably something that is extremely significant for Hanover Township.
Oh, yeah.
The Landmark Commission has worked diligently for 2 years. The first year they were rejected. The town supported this, all the committee people here supported this, whereby we actually had a consultant, or a historic consultant. And this is for the restoration of stones at the burial yards, considering it's the oldest historic site in Morris County. The first year we went through this, they developed a report, must have been like this, with Mr. Giorgio's staff, Kelly, Mike Znicki, Len Fariola, and Agnes Logden. They did a great job with this thing, as well as with other members on Landmark.
Dave Leo.
And Dave Leo. Okay. Try to remember all the people. Yes, Dave Leo. It involved the engineering department. And the first time they had to go around, and I actually went with them to the meeting, it was just rejected. Everybody else got the money but us. This year, they redid it again. Got heavily involved with it, with the group that I just noted, and we were approved for the $40,000. That is a significant grant, because last year we didn't get anything, and the town was generous enough to give us $50,000 to the Landmark to start restoring a number of stones and brass plaques throughout the burial yard. So this year we intend to get a lot more work done, which I'm sure they can't get everything done this year, but whatever they're doing, I want to congratulate the Landmark Commission being extremely active in this whole process, but more importantly with the support of this committee and our staff here, Mr. Giorgio and his staff, which made it all possible. So thank you.
Great, George. No, it's well worth saying. Once again, I think Hanover set a precedent with that award. Believe it or not, as historic as the burying yard was, the Morris County Historic Preservation Society wouldn't recognize it as a historic site in need of grant. It absolutely baffled us as to why that was. But I think it came down to a technical item of the way the forms were submitted. I'll tell you, world, it's a terrible matter when things of such great value as this get bogged down over a word or putting something on a wrong line. But George, congratulations. They were very good.
I'll make a motion that the consent agenda be approved.
Yep.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Ferramaska.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. Payment of bills, $8,580,409.62.
I'll make a motion that we pay the bills, and I would also like to congratulate our CFO on a successful audit. That is no uneasy task to take on, and congratulations to Mr. Esposito and the entire finance department for doing that.
Thank you, Sil.
Okay.
Great work.
Okay, we have a motion?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
The bills are paid. And raffle applications, also by consent agenda. Are there any questions about the raffle applications?
Move to be approved.
We have a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So approved. Mr. Chairman, members of the Township Committee, that clears the agenda. The Administrative Township Clerk, and I thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Once again, gentlemen, I'd like to open the floor. So motion
So
to
moved.
open.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the floor is open. If you'd like to address the Township Committee on any item at all, please do so from the podium, giving us your name and address for the record. Seeing none.
Move to close.
Hearing none. Motion to close.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Gentlemen, Committeeman Gallagher.
Ready? School and Park Traffic Safety Advisory Committee had their back-to-school meeting. Believe it or not, we look forward to the summer all year. We talk about Bob's Pool and all the other good stuff, but you know what? There's a lot of really good things that happen in the fall, too. But we're going to be ready. Brian Ferran, DPW, and the school repainted all our crosswalks. They've made everything look as nice as they could. They freshened up some of our signs. Also, AAA, we participate with them in Hanover Township PD with back-to-school materials, Drive Safe, Schools Open. Lieutenant Locke, I believe the date was August 24th that we were going to be getting those materials and distribute them to businesses and to any families that want them. We'll also take that campaign to social media. What we also did was reviewed our last year's back-to-school message, our back-to-school safety message. And Brian Cahill is going to put the finishing touches on that. We're going to share it to every student in Hanover Township electronically, and we're going to also share with the newspaper and through social media. Law enforcement. Educate and enforcement are two of our 4 E's. And last year, Chief Roddy bent over backwards to have plenty of police in our schools or around our schools for the first 2 weeks to remind people where they can park, where they can't park, where they can stop and where they can't stop. And then after 2 weeks, it's going to get a little more forceful that, hey, come on, we got to get on the same page. We have 1,462 kids in our K through 8 and 730 in our high school. We got to be a little more conscientious of these little whippersnappers and their safety. Chief Bulgar gave us a crossing guard update, personnel, equipment, their latest certification, and the sub list. We're ready to go with Chief Bulgar. And on that note, Chief Bulgar's wife is home from the hospital and rehab, and God bless that family. We love those guys, and they're back. And Chief Bulgar is back, and he's ready for another school year.
Good news.
That's
good
good
news.
news.
Good news.
The last thing that we discussed also was Tigers football and cheer. It seems we had some specific recommendations with the way some of our away families drive in and around our facilities in a specific area. We're going to focus on that area, and we're putting together a paragraph to put on a Tigers Nation website from our group and from Hanover Township PD. When the other team seeks directions to our fields, we're going to have a one-paragraph reminder on how to behave driving around our fields and our children. Because you know what? When the game's over, they want to get out of Dodge, and our kids are walking on the side of the road, and that doesn't work out.
It's creating a problem.
It is, and we're addressing it, and we began to address it at the end of last year. And the last thing I'm going to say, the Substance Awareness Council has been busy. Carol Giorgio doesn't stop, and God bless her. But I just want to say you've seen it. Darryl Strawberry is coming to Hanover Township on October 3rd. Tickets are available on hanovertownship.com. And I just want to say also, in defense of this selection, and what's interesting is we always have seminars and assemblies, and John Faramaska had one of the best ones I've ever seen, and unfortunately it was in this room with only 8 people in attendance. So when you get a guy like Darryl Strawberry, some people will say, hey, he's not a great role model, we could have probably got somebody better. But you know what we're going to get? We're going to get a lot of people from my generation, our generation, that remember how great he was and want to be there in the room with him. And guess what? They're going to listen to his message. So we're getting a lot of people to one of our seminars or assemblies that wouldn't have been there. So there's a lot of great reasons why Darryl's there, but the biggest thing is his message is powerful. It goes out to everybody, and we're going to pack that auditorium, and I believe it holds 530 people. So that's it, Mayor.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. John?
Yeah, back to school is just around the corner right now, but Hanover's roads, I will assure you, will be ready. Your engineering department has been working for a long period of time on getting ready, the planning stage. But now Mr. Macera's department is in the implementation stage, and 11 roads will be done this month, kicking off with utility road repairs with PSE&G and the water company of Longview Drive and Jackie Terrace, Malapartis Road, South Jefferson Road. Hanover internal road work will be at Frank Terrace, Catherine Drive, Leslie Court, Forest Way, Ash Circle, and Cedar Run. Not to forget Ridgedale Avenue. Ridgedale Avenue will be done the last week in August. And we still are planning to have work done on Parsippany Road, Whippany Road, and North Jefferson Road before the weather sets in. So the good news is we're in the implementation stage, and our roads are going to be significantly improved, which is good. Some people, though, and rightfully have said, hey, what about my road? When is my road going to be done? So in order to address that question, I got to step back a little bit and share information on how does this engineering department master plan really work. This year, the engineering department has coordinated paving almost 4 miles of roads. Now, this isn't the first time. This township committee has made a significant effort and made it a priority to repave roads for the past 6 years in a row. They have devoted close to $1 million, $1.5 million consistently to repave roads. And $1.5 million is a lot of money. And we try to stretch that $1.5 million about as far as it can go. But recognize, in Hanover Township, we have 75 miles of roads. You can't do them all at once. So the way it works, the magic of the master plan process developed by the engineering department is to work alongside the Department of Public Works to evaluate, constant evaluation of all potential roads for repaving. They look at the conditions of the roads. They look at water issues. They look at traffic loads, and they start to compile a list of all the potential roads for paving. Then they go through what they call their surgical triage method. And what that really means is now they're going to prioritize those roads which are in the greatest needs based upon the available budget which they have in hand. The final step is to evaluate it, cost it out, and get that approved by this committee for the upcoming season, which we're now getting the benefit of. Engineering department further stretches that budget by seeking money outside of Hanover Township. They make appeals for grant money for the DOT, and we're getting money to help support the paving of Ridgedale Avenue from DOT. They also pursue support from Morris County and for our main arteries. So this season, we're going to have road work done on Parsippany Road, as well as Whippany Road and a portion of Hanover Avenue where it meets Ridgedale, which are main arteries in our town. But they don't stop there. They take it a step further. They contact the utilities. They work closely with gas, with water, with the sewage authority to coordinate infrastructure improvements. So they tell them, we are going to be paving these roads during this time frame. It's your responsibility to go out and make the necessary changes that you need to do so that you're not disrupting our roads afterwards, which is an enormous waste of taxpayers' money. However, this township committee wisely enacted a special ordinance a couple years ago in our town that if a utility disturbs one of these road beds by a greater than X percentage, they essentially now own the repair for an entire lane. Henceforth, Malapartis, South Jefferson are going to be paved at the expense not of the direct taxpayer of Hanover Township, but of these utilities and these authorities. Temporary patching no longer cuts it in Hanover Township. You disturb our lanes, you own the lane if you're a utility. Mayor, that concludes the dissertation on roads.
Very comprehensive and answers a lot of questions that the folks have had, been buzzing on the social networks about what's going on with various streets. John's dissertation gave you a whole rundown, and I will tell you and our parents out there, we are focused on getting these streets done before the first yellow school bus rolls. So we want to make sure that they're done, that no construction material is going on during the times that schools will be open. So, John, I think you've got that well under control. Thank you. Very good. George?
Oh, yeah, I made the report on the DWI and also on cultural arts. For now, the seniors are kind of quiet, and the cultural, I made on Landmark. Cultural arts is kind of quiet right now. Veterans Alliance, we are working on a monument that's going to be placed over here between the library, over by the library area for Slattery. And at that point in time, I'll present it to the committee. But for now, things are quiet in the senior area, cultural arts.
Thanks, George. Very good. Robert?
Landmarks.
Yeah, a couple things from recreation. Summer camp is over, so the kids get a couple free weeks before they go back to school. Camp was a big success. We have more kids than ever this year, and if you're considering one of our several different offerings for summer camp, sign up early. The registrations will be probably right after New Year's. Hanover Township Day coming up very rapidly, Saturday, September 9th from 1 to 5 at Malapartis Park. Rain date of Sunday. The summer concert series was a big success in spite of the fact that the weather didn't really cooperate. We had to have 2 of our 4 concerts indoors at Memorial Junior. So it's good to have that as a backup. The other 2 that took place at Malapartis outdoors were very well attended. We really had some great shows. So get those on your calendar next year if you weren't able to come this year. Community garden is open. Gardeners are having a great time. Vegetables are starting to bloom. So in spite of the fact that it opened a little bit late, the community garden is a big success, and look forward to even bigger things next year. And lastly, the Bee Meadow Pool registration fee goes down on August 1st. So if you're considering the pool, I know the weather hasn't been that hot, but if you're considering getting a few days of swimming in during August, contact the rec center or go right to the pool for the reduced registration rates. They would love to have you. And that's it.
Very good, Bob. Thank you very much. Good. We've been kind of in recess, as everybody knows, over the months of July and August. And our Board of Health will be back into commission the second Wednesday of the coming month. And along with that, our same thing is true of our library and our Library Commission. They had a very successful fundraising event in conjunction with Panera Bread this past Wednesday evening. If you went and had dinner at Panera Bread, a portion of that went to the library fund, which is great. As you know, the library is funded primarily by the funds from the Hanover Township directly, but in conjunction with, it's supported by funds they generate from their private sector areas as well. So they did very well, and we're very pleased. If there's no other comment from the committee or the community at this point, I'd like to motion for close.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.
Okay. Close, not the record, but close.
Well, you know, between you and Mr. Gallagher, you know, I mean, that was it. What you doing?
The ordinance you introduced about the having stores, I guess you were talking about stores.
Yes, security.
Like, we're talking the shop right, the weddings, we're talking the
In general,
But there's nothing specific that's.
no, in general, we are fostering